Cue the music. That's working. Go live notifications up, and we're back. Cool. So, hello everyone. It's been another week. And we are going to keep on texturing because that's what we've been doing for the last, what, 4, 5 sessions now? And we're getting there. So, last session we did a pass over the mask and the hair. Still quite happy with it. And we made a little start in the ears. And looking at it overall, most elements are getting over their second pass, or the stylized pass. I think I want to work a little bit more on the tufts that are inside the ear and on the face. We'll do a pass on the hair as well, and we'll work our way downwards again. So we got the belts, we got the shoulder beholder in. Hey Mora, welcome on in. We gotta tackle the skull as well, so... Oh, hey Rogue, welcome on in. Happy to see you. Yeah, welcome on in. It's been a while since you were in one of my streams. Hope I'm doing good. Yep. A little bit tired, but we can push through that. Okay, so let's see. Where do we start with this one? Usually looking quietly to check how I'm doing. Loving the texturing for. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm quite happy with how it's shaping up. Sorry for dropping in a random. Is this a ZBrush? We are currently in the texturing stage, Summer. So this is Substance Painter. However, we have used ZBrush to create the high poly. Welcome on in. Nice job on the texturing of the mask. Thank you. Yeah, compared to what we had last week, and or rather at the start of last week, and how we what's the word? Where we ended up at the last week. This is quite an improvement, so I'm quite proud of it. Which makes me happy. Sorry, watching from your phone? That's completely fine. I'm here to answer questions. Yeah, Substance Painter, we're working on mainly the colors. This model would be so damn good if you make it as an avatar too. Yeah, unfortunately, because this is not my design, I don't think I'll be able to do that, since it's not my character. Maybe on a future character. If I have been training my own, how do you call it? Like concepting skills to make a few characters of my own. So who knows? Still fun practice and training. Yep. So again, this is meant to be a portfolio piece to showcase skill and hopefully get a good position somewhere. Keep your peepers peeled for that eventuality. Yep. Again, I'd love to do it. I should make it into a bigger priority. Making your own characters is a lot of fun. Okay. Let's see. We are going to be working on the ear tufts a little bit more. See if we can get that refined a little bit. Because we have some indications of fur tufts on the inside. And I wish to... improve that a little bit. So here we have the ear interior. Where was it? Shadows. Yeah, in here, this is where I was painting it, so we'll continue. I have to recreate the brush, so we have a basic hard brush, and then for the alpha, I'll give it, what was it? Just a diagonal grungy. Sure we have symmetry selected. Isn't Substance Painter from Adobe? Yep. They bought it a while ago, and I am on a perpetual license. This is Substance Painter 2025, and it is the perpetual version from Steam. So Adobe's not getting my money every month. Okay, let's see. Again, we're just painting black and white information at the moment. Always things to do, never enough time and energy. Yep, we all have 24 hours in a day. I hope you're doing well. Yep, I've had my daily walk. It's always a lot of... The daily walks absolutely help a lot with the mental health. And now we're gonna focus on this for a little bit. So try to remember how I did the painting, because a little bit iffy that I'm painting on this layer now. Do you know alternate? I can find. I'm also planning to start modeling with Blender first. As for alternative softwares, Blender is a great one to start with. It has polygonal modeling. You can sculpt in there as well. You can get really good results with it. As far as texturing software packages, I haven't used it myself, but I've heard that Marmoset Toolbag has gotten quite a few upgrades to their texturing tools as well. I'm not quite sure if it's on the same level as Substance Painter yet. Maybe you can check that one out. Off the accessories for a split second. Marmoset, never heard of it until now. Yeah, so Marmoset Toolbag, I've used it earlier in this project to do the baking of the normal maps. Very artist friendly, a lot of intuitive tools with grouping things up and making sure that your bakes, that you have a lot of control over it. I like it a lot. Good. Hey Blue, welcome on in. Thank you. We have these brighter tufts on the inside, and I need to find a way to that. Hey Norin, welcome on in. Because it's been a while, I'm having some trouble remembering what went where. Slightly problematic. were they in the accessory? Alright, I put them in there. Okay, so I have to paint them in there. Cool. Hi Norn, welcome on in. Also, there's quite a few of you at the start of the stream. That makes me very happy to see. We have the accessories. Yeah, here they are, the ear tufts. We have this fake light. Which is now just one sharp edge. However, I also would like to have like a very slight gradient to the base of each tuft, just to give it a little bit more depth. Control V. Darkening color. Set this one back to hue saturation value, and then set this one to like black mask, paint. Now, I haven't used this in a while, so we'll use some of the quick masking tools. So mask 1, Control Shift E to invert the mask, hit U, and now whenever we're painting, we will only be painting on the thing that is currently not masked out. Okay, then I'm gonna need a basic soft brush, very low opacity. Get a little bit of a gradient in there. Could stop by for a little bit, working in office today. Good luck. Thank you, Blue. Good luck at the office. Thank you for stopping by. Done a little bit with so just with some small gradients we can add a little bit of depth to it. Monk, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Oh, that's cute emote. Welcome on in. So I do have to make sure that when I'm painting, that currently it now is just a blotch that's on the front. I would like it to be like all over the base, so that when these things actually move and sway a little bit, that the shadow doesn't look broken. Depth, that helps a lot. And then again, this diffuse breakup, yeah, so we already did like a little bit of gradient painting in the previous session. So didn't really work out, so I'll just get rid of this layer. Cool. Darken this slightly. Because I've had a few chats with friends about like feedback sessions. How does it look? How is it going? The main notes being that the contrast needs to be upped and that everything needs to be slightly warmer colors. Which, on a theoretical level, yes, I understand. However, on a practical level, of me being able to see those changes is difficult for me. So at some point I will have... I'm basically required to have someone next to me that can, like, ratatouille me. Just move some sliders along. But until that day arrives, we're gonna keep working as best we can. So those are the ear tufts. I like those. A little bit brighter. Always. Okay. Don't be afraid of sounding dumb. Yeah, so a color shader would help with color temperatures. So there are ways inside of Substance in order to... Just like in Photoshop, you have a lot of filters and like hue, saturation, and things like vibrancy adjusters. Substance Painter has these too. So if we go back to the body, I was fiddling with this a little bit before stream. We close the base body and we go, for example, the blue cloth. Because this is in a group, what we can do is on this group, we can add a filter. Then that filter can be something like a color correct. And then in here, you have special... it's a more nuanced hue, saturation, luminosity adjuster. So with this one, for example, if we start kicking the luminosity around, you can see, oh yeah, the mid values are being adjusted. Or if I go to the highlights, you can see, okay, now only these parts are getting affected. So if I were to, let's say, increase saturation and decrease luminosity to hopefully get a little bit closer to this image, this is the way to do it. This is how you can get there. So it's these filters exist. But my problem is that my eyeballs don't correctly register the colors. So I'm now tweaking the luminosity and saturation of the midtones. But I'm not sure if this saturation is too much or too little, until it eventually becomes like overblown. Because I can't accurately see the colors. I have the tools to do it, but I don't have the eyes for it. So this is what I mean with I need a friend or a coworker who sits next to me to adjust the colors. The colors will be affected by environmental light if we use environmental light in Unreal. Yes. So I'm using a shader. So a friend of mine, Proto Wolf, made he makes Camo Rig, which is in Unreal. It's VTuber software. It's really cool. Highly recommend it. And he made a couple of shaders that you can mess around with. And it already has like a bit of a stylized shader setup. Do you have a type of colorblindness? Yep, I'm colorblind. Red and greens are a bit iffy for me. That and I don't see the difference between blue and purple. So I'm a mixed bag when it comes to being able to properly spot colorblind or color stuff. So this is also why I do everything in separate layers, so that if someone comes in and be like, hi, that blue needs to change. Okay, we go here and we can just change it to, I don't know, something else. Just I'm guessing this is more like a saturated green. Like stuff like that. That is why I love Substance Painter, because everything is non-destructive. So yeah, I have all of these tools to tweak the colors, but I myself can't see the colors. So that's an iffy part. Anyway, in Unreal, yes, Unreal is going to be the part where we'll have to check the colors lastly and then do a whole bunch of exporting, importing, dancing around in order to get it to look good in Unreal, because that's where the final imaging, the final beauty renders will be made. I'm thinking about these things constantly, and hopefully we can stick the landing. Okay. Yeah, so here we have a color correct, and then let's see, there was another filter. It was oh, they changed the icons. Carrieners, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. Let's see, there was... Yeah, so we're currently we have color correct. And then there was... I made a text document of this one. Yeah, so we have color correct and color balance. If I grab this one, color balance. Definitely need help with color editing if you struggle to see the exact colors, but it looks amazing. Oh, thank you. So yeah, usually texturing, if you're at a big company, then the character artist is it can be split up into like finer and finer and finer pieces. So you could have someone who's responsible for the high poly. So like the pure artistry of make this high poly sculpt look as good as possible. Then you can hand it off to the character artist who is responsible for things like retopology and UVs. Hi Jade, welcome on in. Like, yeah, retopology and UVs and making sure that it's technically sound. And then afterwards it can get passed over towards the next character artist who is going to do the baking of utility maps and normal transfers and things like texturing. However, it is also quite possible that in a small indie team, you could be the one character artist who is responsible for high poly, low poly, baking and texturing and importing it into the game engine. So in order to increase my odds of getting a job, I need to make sure that I can wear all those hats. So that's why we're currently really focusing hard on leveling up our texture work and learning a couple of the tools that are with it. So here we have color correct. This is a really nice adjustment. And then color balance, this one, if we look at the options here, same as color correct, it's broken in shadows, midtones and highlights. But this one is then more towards, okay, cyan and red, magenta and green, yellow and blue. And have the adjustments go off like that in order to, for example, make it have warmer colors. Because I know theoretically warmer colors have more red in them. So then these are tools that could help achieve the look that we want. But I'll remove this one for now. I'll keep the color correct for the jacket in because, yeah, going from a bright jacket to this one, if we pull up the reference, we can already see that it's closer to what we want. Okay. So yeah, being a character artist is very multidisciplinary these days. There's also plenty of art. There's also plenty of character art job adverts out there that now also require the character artist to be able to rake their own work. So, yeah, it's a never-ending list of responsibilities that keeps getting thrown on a singular person. It's wild out there. Back in the day, and I'm talking like 2010 to 2000, let's be royal, 2014. If you were really good at ZBrush, you could get a job as a character artist purely for the artistry of, oh, you know how to do sculpting? Okay, cool. Come on in. So yeah, these days the laundry list keeps getting longer and longer. Also, we have advertisements starting in a minute and a half. So get a glass of water. So, sorry, train of thought. From top to bottom, we've adjusted the ears, we've adjusted the ear fluff a little bit. Let's look at the hair another time. Lab code, welcome on in. Vaporwave gems, yep. I've been using the exact same playlists, which is like a 2-hour loop for the last, well, since the beginning. I only have this music that I keep on loop. It's for me it's perfect because it's kind of like wallpaper music. It's there in the background, but not enough to fully grab your attention, and also noticeable enough where it doesn't. You don't have like, what's the word? Just dead air hanging around. Okay. Here we have the hair. Back at it, these shadows, I do think I want to have them blend a little bit better. So just reduce the opacity a little bit. 70. Just so that's a little bit brighter. Although, no, because we want more contrast, so we should keep it this bright. Yeah, quick selections, grab all of these. We have advertisements going on, so I'll show this trick after we have our audience back. Because over here we can see that we have like we have brush strokes going over from one element to another, and I don't want that. And I'm also not going to manually paint it. I'm going to use a little trick for it. Because again, the quick masking is quite a powerful tool. It's really nice if you need to get some hard edges in there, or make sure you don't accidentally paint from one element into another. Okay, 30 seconds. I'm gonna take a look at this because again, I did the high poly and we have like all of this nice detail. But now I'm also looking at the concept and it's like, this is extremely flat hair. There's only like a few line strokes to indicate that there's detail in there. So again, a conflict of what I wanted for my vision, but what is in the concept art. We're gonna have to find a balance. All right, welcome back. That was advertisements. Cool. So we have some brush strokes. If we look at the mask, we can see, yeah, we have some spillover. We didn't color within the lines. What we can do is with masking, we hit Y. We hit 4, so in the fill. And we'll just fill out the chunks that we want. Invert it, holding Ctrl-Shift-I. Now with black information, we're gonna hit U, so we're out of masking. And now we're just gonna flood everything with black. It's going to get rid of all the pixel information that we didn't want. Now it's a clean cut again. Let's see. I'm going to do this. I want to try something. I want to see if because this is a lot of individuals hair, and I want to see if I can get it done in one swoop. All this shadows mohawk. We'll call this shadows new mask. Brother. This needs to be in a group. Positioning doesn't matter all that much, but we'll put it up here. Agent Bwin, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome on in. I'll make a new group, long hair. Back. Just going to involve these tufts. All of them. So now whatever, I'm grouping this up because I'm gonna make some effects that I only want to have the back of the hair touch and not things like the mohawk. Here, shadow, long hair. I'm going to add a black mask. I'm going to filter, and I'm gonna look for light. Wait, not a filter, I need a generator. And in generator, I'm going to grab the light filter. So as you can see, We've used this trick before. This is looking at world space and position, or world space normals and positions, in order to create a mask based on horizontal angle and vertical angle. What I'm looking for is something that is first off heading straight on. This has to be 90. Vertical angle not too much from the top. Rather, I need this to be more from the front. We'll keep it as 0. Now it's just a frontal projection, which is exactly what I want. So what I'm looking for is that shadow that's on the inside of the hair. Now with the light we can adjust the highlight and get that stylized sharp look in there. Can have a little bit of an attenuation, which is the gradient of like top to bottom. Like this. Like this immediately gives me a lot of control over where do I want the core shadow to be. I think this is like a nice starter. Get rid of the body. Yeah. So here's like the fake shadow that will be occluding because it's directly on top of the neck. So enjoy this thumbnail. 3D is amazing. Okay. Let's see. Color back. So again, I'm always looking at this image on my second monitor, and there is another image that shows it from the back, and it is a very simplified solid color with a couple of lines on it in order to indicate that there are hair strands, but I would like it to be a little bit more details, like what we did here on the head, on top of the head. So I want to see if I can get a little bit more depth in there. For that, we do duplicate this one, light, dark gradient, mask paint. I'll use the same trick. Let's see if I can, what does it look like if I add a little bit of gradient? This is currently set to tangent warp. much. We have this, so it breaks up. So it breaks it up slightly, a little bit more depth in there. Just opacity. So all I need is a little bit of breakup. Do I like these soft shadows that are coming from? I believe this is the fake ambient occlusion. Okay, we're gonna play the game of where does this shadow come from. It. Gotta be though. Yeah, it is from here, but because it's an instance, we cannot control it. That's Alright, well. Next step, we add stripes to it. I need my brush, I need pencil. Make it really small again. Okay. Now we can activate. Now I need to keep in mind that I don't make it too busy and not have too many edges that are all the same width and the same distance from each other. Like some lines can be close towards each other, some can be very sparse. Just so we don't have that uniform look. However, I am looking at the top of the hair. Or like, I'm looking at the mohawk and I'm looking at the hair that's in the back, and these are two completely different haircuts. Maybe I do need to make the core shadows a little bit darker. At least the ones that are up top. It doesn't make sense that there's shadow up here. So require a couple of stripes up front. Again, even though this is on the inside of the model, I'm thinking about if this character were to like make an action move and the hair goes flying, I want to make sure that on the inside of the hair that there's also some detail the camera might be able to catch. Did this without pen pressure. Oh, autosave. Don't make weird noises, please. Stuff like this doesn't happen. Oh, and I painted on. I'll let that go for now. Let's see, back to base colors. probably want to cut out some of these gradients so that they're a little bit more characteristic, rather than just a smooth gradient, because this character has a lot of jagged shadows in it. Back to a hard brush, shape. I'll just paint black pixels on a new layer. Negative triangles. Don't see it too much, but you definitely, it adds a little bit of a vibe to it. That's what I'm looking for. Looking at this transition, we can clearly see that a couple of things are just not working. Make sure that this actually lines up. This is completely filled. And we'll get rid of these highlights slightly by just going over with a low opacity and low flow. Yeah, this fake light is coming from this one, so just paint that out. don't want it here. Slightly darker. Okay. This definitely makes it feel more integrated. Also, if anyone has any questions of like how I'm doing things or why I'm doing things, feel free to let me know in chat and I'll do my best to address it. Or maybe explain something a little bit better. Okay. Going from up, down. Let's work on that little pauldron for a little bit. That'll be painting metal. That'll be another good exercise. Let's see. Accessories. Cool. All right. So what do we have? We have that's starting in less than a minute. Again, looking at the concept, we can see that we have some metallic, we have some green on top of it, and then we have some baked in light. And again, we have quite a few lines, so we'll be working on those. Shoulder pauldron, here it is. Diffuse. Okay, again, I made these fill layers to break up the diffuse earlier, but I no longer agree with them, so they just go bye-bye. We hand paint things now. More control. Also, advertisement starts. I'm gonna take a stretch break. I'll be back in 2 minutes. BRB. that may have been a little bit more than 2 minutes. I got a good stretch. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what do we have? We have a base color and a little bit of green discoloration. So I called it cool. Again, I want my shadows and I want my highlights. So I'll duplicate this one. Call it, because I'm doing this only once a week. Really puts a strain on naming conventions. So okay, shadows. Let's see. Put this to 115. Start hand painting in. This will be primarily at the bottom. Far too dark. Shadow. I can actually just build the entire bottom of that block. So immediately we have a nice clean shadow. Let's see, concept. They do the highlights on the other parts. I forgot. So that's a neat part of always just being able to look back at your own work. Effect we used. Soft light. As was things like overlay. Okay. That'll be enough information. Let's see. Where do I want my lights to be? So again, main light is directly up front. He has to be more in sunlight. Paint with lower pass. This is where we do the scary thing again and we trust the process. We've done it with the mask, so I know I can do this with shoulder pattern too. A little bit of ID methods here. Hey, the Brianator. Welcome on in. How are you doing? And again, I need to keep the habit of working zoomed out. We have a more, what's the word? Better overall image of the character rather than being completely zoomed in, thinking it looks good, and then zooming out, it's like, I missed the mark. Alright, heading to work soon. Right, because, let's see, United States, things are waking up. For some of you, it's now 9 in the morning, which is office hours. Ten a.m. for you. Just got to your computer. Making some breakfast in the background. Alright, cool. So all the breakfast is important. How is your base color so beautiful and doesn't immediately get eaten by the lighting material mode? Uh, mm, not quite sure. There's still plenty of things that are, for example, the roughness absolutely blows it over. But I am primarily working in color, like base color only. And I believe I gave it a different HDRI. Nope, I'm using Studio Tomoko, which I believe is a base HDRI that comes with Substance. We're doing the thing again where we're painting on the wrong layer. Oh. Again, it's important that we're painting on the paint layer, not the highlights. Or the mask itself. Because if we paint in the mask, sure, we still have these two options, but if it's per layer, I have more fine control over it, so that's why I want it. Do it again, and no big deal. If anything, doing it a second time will probably get us better results. Hey Marin, good morning. How are you? Hey Bones, come on in. See you in here as well. Picking up. That's nice. And immediately Substance does not save. Still very sleepy, getting your bagel, trying to wake up. How's Kenyon today? Kenyon's doing well. We've had our morning walk. It was beautiful weather outside. Oh. Proxy Destroyer, thank you very much for the raid. What were you doing? We're playing no game. Is that something busted on the shoutout, or were you not playing in any categories? Yeah, welcome on in, raiders. Proxy Destroyer, thank you very much for the raid. Highly appreciate it. You were playing Megabunk. Ah, I heard many good things about that game. Ooh, plenty of my friends play that one. Lots of fun. Move to no category to talk about. Ah, I see. Welcome on in. Thank you for streaming. Thank you for raiding to my stream. One day I'll get better in doing like the whole introduction after getting raided. Hey lols, welcome on in. That is going fast. Yeah, I've had my morning walk, morning bones, and then the raid happened. Baby steps. Yeah, I'll. The more it happens, the more, the smoother I'll get at it. Yeah. For those who are new to the channel, my name is Kenyon. I'm a 3D character artist. Currently, we are working on the texturing stage of this character. We are working off a reference that is over here. The concept is made by Ale55 on social media. They made this really cool concept art, and I wanted to see if I could make it into a 3D model. Here we are. Then, thank you. And with Megabonk, Proxy, how were the runs? Did you manage to get any super overpowerful item combos? I've seen some bizarre combos where everything just, it immediately spawns and then immediately gets obliterated. Which is the entire point of that genre. Nothing crazy, just relaxing, different things from the meta as usual. Ah, okay. It's also always a lot of fun to just try making your own build. And if you need to take any post-stream self-care, or you have to like run for dinner or go to bed, feel free to do so. I'll look after your viewers. We should still be going on for quite a while. Apex Zero, thank you very much for the follow. And Marin does a 25 stream streak. I think that's every single... Wait, no. It's not every single stream that we've had, because we're on like, what, session 30 something? But still, 25 is crazy. We're always watching. That's not intimidating at all. Alright, you gotta go sleep. Take care. Alright, take care, Proxy. And thank you again for the raid. Have a good sleep. Okay, and I feel like I'm overworking this without like putting any real intent in there. Which is messy. Tone down some areas. Love the metallic hand painting on the metal plate. Really therapeutic to look at. It's good to hear. I'm glad that I'm finding these texturing methods. A lot of this... Again, from the industry professionals that I've gotten a lot of feedback of, they are very much right when they point at my texturing work and say, hey, you neglected a lot of it. And yeah, so that's why I really want to put in a lot of effort into making sure that this texturing job looks like a real level up. I think overall we are achieving that, so that makes me happy. A little weird though, you could have sworn you haven't missed a single stream. Yeah, it... I don't know, maybe Twitch had like a small hiccup. I know that you've been here for indeed effectively every stream. Thank you very much, that's greatly appreciated. We have ads in 3 minutes again. Let's see if we can get some of that greenery on here and then indeed make it look more rather than give it all of these soft edges, make it a little bit more localized. E. Glad you like the music, Bones. Get rid of it here up top because it looks too generic. Here's the MZ, welcome on in. Then are you painting in details along the bake to accentuate the musculature details, or is it just the bake? If we look at the normal, or rather, we have a normal map that we put a lot of effort in to get it out of ZBrush, and then bake it onto this mesh. So we have a lot of baked normals, which is giving us light information. However, since this is a stylized character, I am baking, or I am painting in a lot of fake shadows and highlights to accentuate it as well. So that if we look at the pure diffuse, that we get a lot more depth out of it. If we look at, again, this shoulder is probably the small area that I like the most. Because we have some good shadows, we have some highlight breakups, we have some insinuation of like more detail due to the way that the shadow is painted, and it has some nice gradients. So that effect I'm trying to get everywhere. So that even on just pure color, that it looks like it has good depth. Because again, in the past, I did a lot of PBR texturing, so physically based rendering, PBR, but it, again, look at the Leopard Mercenary that's above me on the previous projects. The geometry is stylized, but the materials are realistic, and you get a clash of two worlds. That does not work well enough. I need to make a choice. Either we go full stylized or we go physically accurate, not try to do a bit of both. So that's why I'm hammering so hard on like really trying to get the stylized look this time. Okay, and a couple more stripes, pencil. Adding a couple of adding things such as stripes to drive home the feeling of, oh yeah, this character is drawn. Haven't played around with painting and shadows like that before, but looks fun. Feel like I rely too much on shaders in Unity to get stylized look. Yeah, I've had it in the past as well, where okay, adjusting the shader so you have like really sharp burned in highlights or really sharp shadows and not a lot of like these soft gradients that you have whenever there's like a cloudy sky. I suffered from that as well, so that's why we're doing this project now. Just can we make this really look like a 2D picture? And I have been testing a lot inside Unreal. I'm still working on something of a shader that will let me mimic it. And again, it's based on Proto Shader. Customizing. The results are getting there, but my god, is it mind draining of like sheer, okay, sit down, look at tutorials, think about this. So that's why I'm not doing that on stream, because that would just be watching me watching a YouTube tutorial and like trying to figure out what they mean and how to replicate it. That'll be one of the few aspects where I unfortunately can't show it on stream, because it would just be mind-numbing for everyone involved. So excellent job on the wear pattern on the shoulder pad. A lot of people fall into the habit of adding wear and tear on areas that wouldn't normally get wear and tear from the real world use. Yes, it's... thank you. And that is something that I keep hammering on myself constantly, because yes, adding detail just for the sake of detail. Intent. I think intent is like the main word that keeps popping back up on this character. Like, okay, where do we put the paint strokes? Where do we put everything is there for a reason. So I am slowly rotating out all of these. There's still a couple of them left where we have like this type of diffuse breakup where it's just a cloud that is being used to break it up, but it feels generic. I'm rotating these things out. I no longer want to use those methods. They're not giving me the results that I want. Looking at World of Warcraft models where all the armors have huge gashes in them for no reason. They look cool, but I wish you'd have kept things simpler or smarter. Yeah, it's difficult to find a balance between, okay, this is a brand new armor set that just left the smithy and it's completely polished because it's part of the Royal Guard and has never seen combat. But we also need to make it look visually interesting, so add scuff marks to it. And then just trying to find that balance is super difficult. It's good to remember the way a character looks by its details can tell a story. Yep, visual storytelling. Like the things like, oh yeah, this character has a scar over here. How on earth did he get the scar? Shirt is ripped. What does this tell about the character? Like that they don't care all that much about how they present themselves. Like, sure, I'm walking around in ripped outfits with markers, paint on the top of the pants. Like it says something about the attitude of the character. Then indeed scuff marks, red stains. I wonder what those are. All of that really adds character to a character without you needing a like a 3-page document telling them, oh yeah, this is their name, this is the environment that they're from, this is the world. If you have a solid character visual design, you can see all of that by just looking at them for a minute. That is really cool. But my god, is it difficult. I'm trying to work on a character of my own now and just constantly asking myself, okay, I have a small backstory in mind. This is like their day job. How on earth do they, like, how do they wear their clothes? How do they roll up their sleeves constantly? How do they handle things? And how does that affect the way that they look? Those things constantly. Look at Kayan out there being smart, talented, and skilled artist. Aw, thank you. Yeah, and then that is a never-ending journey. Like that will require work and effort, like, permanently. With every character, you learn new things, and it's like, oh, cool, didn't know that before, or just new ways of doing things. Definitely never on the process, and it's great. Yep. Art can be extremely frustrating. Rather, it is extremely frustrating when something just isn't clicking. But then that aha moment of, oh, I figured it out, and now I know why it wasn't working. Once that locks in, that is basically the greatest feeling ever. Frustrating because Unity, yeah. Lols, I'll be putting this character in Unreal, so that's a whole different beast of agony. But luckily, I have more than a couple of good friends who are who are a lot more proficient in Unreal than me, and I can absolutely bank on their knowledge to at least save me some frustration. So it's surround yourself by more awesome people, and everyone can help each other out in the end. It's been years since you've used Unreal, but you remember it was much better experience than you have with Unity. I'm happy for you that that is the case. For me, it's the polar opposite. I've used Unity and Unreal just keeps roundhouse kicking me across the face numerous times. There's something in there. I'm an artist that really likes it when you're working with a software and you open up the interface and there's very few things going on behind the curtain already. So whenever I'll keep this into a short rant. I'll at least try. The amount of things that I need to disable whenever I just open up an empty Unreal project and then like I just want to do basic look dev. I put in a light on my model and because I have a solid background, the camera immediately tries to balance itself out because it's trying to be a physically accurate camera. And here I am trying to do stylized stuff is absolutely maddening. The amount of toggles that I need to like find, disable, and just get rid of in order to get a basic, hi, this is your diffuse and here's just a light, no camera attenuation or anything whatsoever, or fog or like anything. Just to get there is already maddening. Alright, and I'll leave it at that. Again, I'll do all of that off stream because I don't want people to see me like that. Okay, I think we did a good pass on the shoulder pauldron. Definitely give it a level up. More highlights that are then also on top of the green. Can you set up a pre-configured scene for future projects? I've tried that. I've gotten close with a couple. It does work. A lot of it, like once you know the tricks, it's like, oh yeah, you just go here and you do this toggle and then everything's fine again. But getting to that area or to that step is, to me, maddening. So this thing has quite a scratch, so let me add that one as well. I think, yeah, so it needs another one of these things. So work smarter, not harder. I'm just gonna go towards this one. Crack effect. I'll just copy. Need to put it in the proper world orientation, or rather world position. Now it's all the way there. I need this effect to be north. Autosave. Every time it gives like a little Windows notification, and every time I think it's the crash notification. So E. This one I can just open this a little bit. Just remember they have used Unreal Engine to try to mod a character of yours in the game, but for some reason the Windows SDK is borked and it can't publish the model properly. Always nice when Windows is like, hi, I'm not gonna let you do that. Let's do. Again, because we added a new little element, I do need to make sure that there is a highlight catching it, because the metal would have deformed a little bit there. Windows out there like, hey, nice mod you got there, how about you go F yourself? Yep, that is the average Windows experience. Okay. Yeah, shoulder pauldron, I'll leave it for now. Next step. I say that and then immediately always add a little bit more shadow over here. Mask. Grab this one, eye socket darkening. Blur it a little bit. Again, just some fake shadow. Because this is facing the body, and then this will hopefully make it look a little bit more integrated. Oh, hey bro. Welcome on in. How are you doing? Welcome. Happy to see you again. I'm gonna steal some more layers. Birdhouse foot guards. I need the chest straps. Yeah, please. Doing good, about to draw something? Nice. Oh, look at everyone here doing art. Okay, step 1, get rid of the breakup. We don't do that technique anymore. Edgeware. Stay, but we'll have to edit it. Go back to the body. I'm just gonna copy some layers from the ones that we already made for the arm straps, and I'll just copy that to the chest straps. So belts. Don't need the belt holes, but I do want these. Yep. check what it does. So it adds a little bit. Grab this one, copy it. So I just copied the attributes from one, put it in the curvature here, and then deleted the one that we just copied. You can see we have a little bit more edge wear, and now we're just going to go over it and give it the same treatment.
So if your business isn't running as smoothly as you'd like, say hello to the Merlin system. Now you can overcome all that with the Merlin system from AT&T. It's incredibly easy to use.
Jeez. I went to town with that paint layer. Well, we just read. Do it with more intent this time. Hyperfops, welcome on in. Thank you for the follow. Hey. Nice to see you in here. So, looking at the concept, we have a lot more highlights over here. This is where you play the game of why isn't this not working? Contrast, those bells need to be dark. get in some of the highlights here. So this is quite a smooth material, so the highlights need to be like a lot sharper. Like this. Oh, Kuiper, thank you very much for the subscription. That's very much appreciated. Thank you. Welcome on in. And as in, welcome on into the subscriber crew. You now have the benefit of using 2 emotes. Kenyon for love and Kenyon for cry. Oh, and legally distinct Kenyon for love. Not to be confused with Jano love. Because this, I need to check something because I'm not getting the values that I want. Let's see, bells. Yeah, these are also set to overlay, but I'm getting a lot brighter colors with it. I wonder why. Is this, oh, this is set to pure white. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, okay, whenever I change those materials, OBS has a bit of a... it has a little bit of a hiccup. Okay, so... Okay. Just making sure that they're consistent. First, rather than soft light, we change this to overlay. Okay, this looks a lot more like what I can get to. Ooh, that is a name. Santoni. Congratulations on giving me a tongue twister name. Santoni Forito. Thank you very much for the follow. I'll call you Santoni. Yeah, with that, wow, we have 350 of you folks here who hit the follow button. That is mind-boggling to me. I'm happy all of you are enjoying your time here. Hello. My apologies for butchering your name. I am not able to pronounce that one. Oh. Okay. Thank you, Twitch, for throwing a hype train. For hitting the follower goal. Okay. Thank you, Twitch. Yeah, welcome on in. How did you, if you don't mind me asking, like, how did you find my channel? I'm always somewhat curious to hear people find me on this corner of the internet. Sure, cool. Next question. Ah, thank you, Jade. Jade, thank you very much for gifting a sub. Thank you. I'm still speechless whenever people show such generosity. It is very much appreciated. Every little bit helps. Again, everything that I get through subs, I try to reinvest back into the stream. This is how we got a better microphone. Maybe I can commission a couple of artists again for more emotes, or... Again, I still have like a desire to take a swing at it myself, but I also know that my 2D skills, it would take a lot more time. That, and I know a couple of friends who are like really good at doing emotes, stickers. So, highlight here. Art. Yeah, I mean, the little PNG tuber that you're looking at the bottom left, like I drew that one myself, so I can do it. It's just exceptionally rare. Jano. Welcome in, Jano. Thank you for the compliment. We're getting there. Yeah, it's getting there. Most of the elements are getting their second pass. I'm again getting a notification of Twitter like, hey, we did it 10 out of 10. So what, are we now on 10 subscribers? I think we are. Oh, thank all of you. Thank you. E. But these highlights need to be far brighter. It's already a pure white. So if I were to just full opacity, how bright do I get it? Like, this is as bright as the layer will let me go. So I think I'm gonna need... Yeah, I'm gonna need a highlight layer for this one. So new layer, call it highlights. Not a fill, paint layer. Now we can go over it with a brighter brush and then the blur tool. A little bit of a highlight look. We'll tone it down afterwards. Just want to get placement first. So I'm really enjoying this method of just making a huge stroke first and then blurring the heck out of it. It's giving me some really nice results that I'm looking for. Gotta make sure that it doesn't get too dirty. And then the ones down here, because they're in shadow, they need to be slightly milder, but still present. That position makes sense. Say, okay. Because again, looking at it from, let's say that the light angle is here. So this one makes sense. This one makes sense. This one less so. I would imagine that if there's a highlight, it'll be more here from the top. A glancing angle. Auto save, thank you. So how are we doing for time? Okay, we got 40 minutes remaining. Not add. Yes. We do have to tone them down slightly and give them a slightly different color. Again, with opacity, down a bit. Rather than being, we have like a slightly color picker. All right. I'm not gonna guess what type of color that is. I think it's against pink. So again, a little bit of that warmer color. That a little bit. So this highlight should be more towards the front. The artist behind this song? Cool. Because I just grabbed a random playlist from YouTube, and so far we've been vibing to it for a little over 9 months now. I don't actually know the artists that are in this album. I just know that I really like the vibes. Okay. Next step, add stripes. So we have a couple of scuff marks. I made these without pen pressure. We do them again. Advertisement coming in again. Which should be the last of the session. Very close to. Another step in the right direction. Like the position of this one. Okay. Next. Actually, so this we added this a couple of sessions ago. The black clothing underneath, or the black stripe underneath the cloth to give it a little bit of a depth bump. I'm looking at it again, and just slightly, I want to thin it out a bit. Body. Shadow test. We can get rid of the test. We're keeping it. Shirt shadow. Just X to invert. Just make it slightly thinner. And have it taper off to the side. I just think it's a little bit too much. Agree, it does give a bit of depth. The 2D lines on the apps also look really nice. Thank you. So, yeah, again, another feedback point that I got from friends was that the way that the apps are currently drawn, or rather where the lights are, that they are still too flat. So we have half an hour remaining. Let's see if we can make those apps feel a little bit more, give it a little bit more volume. Yeah, because over here we see fake light and fake shadow. We're gonna do that one. Also, I need some stripes. So I'll do this symmetrically, start just for the block out. Later on I'll break symmetry by going over it one side at a time. Absolutely certain I don't do this on the wrong layer, which I immediately started doing. So again, I want all of this done on the proper layer. Because if I don't, and later on I'm gonna try and try to erase things, and they're not actually going away, then it's gonna be like, okay, why is this happening? Why is this not being erased? Because you mucked up your layers. These are difficult. Right now over here I'm fighting against the actual fake light that's over here. Yeah, look at that. Paint, and we are absolutely fading that a little bit. So that's a very, very hard edge. So yeah, painting apps. I can see this being someone's dream job. Just all day, every day, painting apps. Jade being one of them. Sorry to call you out like that. I really feel like currently it still feels very flat, and I think that has to do with just overall wanting more shadows on the sides, brighter areas. So this is where I absolutely lost my workflow, and now I'm fighting 2 layers. If I had a better workflow for this, this would be a lot easier. This is still pretty new to me. So. Ah, there we go. Again, these autosaves are getting heavier and heavier because every brushstroke is being saved. So every time I start to squeal a little bit more whenever that hiccup arrives. I was like, is this going to be it? Is this going to be the crash? This is a universal thing that will happen. The further along a project you are, the closer to the finish line you are, the more things are gonna break. 5 GB files. I think I've well, have I gone bigger than 5 gigs at some point? I don't know, I'll have to check, but yeah, it gets wild at some point. This isn't working. I mixed up my lights and darks too much on the layers. I don't know what is anymore. Just redo it. Yeah, I'll have to check the leopard mercenary, see how bad the damage is in that one, because that one had so many layers in it that I just kept experimenting with. Calamity Cold, welcome on in. And thank you for the follow. Very much appreciate it. How are you? Welcome to the channel. So again, top half of the character is looking nice. We did the ears, we did the pauldron, back of the hair. Redid the abdomens a little bit. Still not entirely happy about the abs. I need to make it look like they have more volume rather than just flat right now. Normals aren't going to save it either. Really nice model, love the hand painting shading. Thank you. We've been working hard on it to hopefully kick it over to the next level. Plenty of things that we're learning from it. So here we have a UV set. So yeah, we're getting there. Quick things that we can fix before stream ends, because we have 6 minutes remaining. Though I also feel my brain being completely empty. Like this is not me ZBrushing, sculpting on autopilot. This is me constantly trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. Either badly or what can be done more efficiently. Like this is study hours. I think we can add a few more lines to the pants. If he knows he has a giant X guitar on top of his head. Well, luckily I don't have physics on this model, so it's not going to drop. I'm quite certain he knows. I'm gonna update the shadows on the pants a little bit, see if I can get a little bit more depth and a little bit more nuance in there, because some of these are a little bit too hard, so see if we can blur them out. Yeah, having them fade in and out a little bit, more subtle really helps. Also emphasize the pockets again. Have I talked to Ale? No, unfortunately, I don't really have a way to communicate with them because Twitter is basically no longer viable, and I could not send, or rather, Blue Sky also was a dead end, so I have not been able to communicate with them. Usually I really try to get like a solid answer from an artist before I start a project. Though whenever that doesn't happen, I just make absolutely certain that they are credited as much as possible so people aren't confusing it, and then hopefully that they're still okay with me doing this. Yeah, because mainly they're on the opposite side of the planet, and I don't think English is one of the languages that they talk. So that makes things a little bit more complicated. Really want to have this shadow be a lot darker. Wait, he asked you about me, but I forgot my Twitch account. Now it appears again on my Twitch recommendations. Oh, nice. Wow, that's a great coincidence. I hope he's okay with me making this project. So far I've never actually even... I don't even know if he's seen the project once. So, yeah, do you have any information, or... Are they okay with it? I hope so. Oh, okay. That's amazing. That's great to hear. It makes me very happy to hear. Yeah, if you know of any channels or ways to maybe make communication possible, that might be cool. Hang on, let me think about this for a second before I like get ahead of myself. Also, it's 6 o'clock, so I don't think I can trust my brain anymore. That thing starts rambling after a while. Yeah, hang on, it's 6 o'clock, so I do have to wrap up the stream. Wow, train of thought. Let me just immediately shelve that train of thought. I have to make a note of something. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. It's been 3 hours again. I'm gonna look for another channel that we can all raid into. Also, heck, there's a lot of you. Oh, hey Hati, welcome on in. I'm sorry you just caught us right at the tail end of the stream. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh god. Yeah, I'm sorry, but hang on, because let's see. We have people that we can go say hi to. Let's see. Yeah, if I'm sorry, Hattie, you caught the tail end again. We go for 3 hours. Is anyone live? Most people are playing games. However, I see Deek. Deek just started her stream. It is a German stream, so for some folks this might not be might be difficult to understand, but I want to raid into Deek. So hang on. Go to OBS. Sure, I absolutely have the channel name right. Yeah. /raid. Okay, so the raid has been created. Everyone, thank you immensely for watching. I hope this stream was informative and fun. We are getting there with the texturing. I think we only have a few elements left, such as the glove, the lower armor parts, and after that it'll be tweaking colors and making sure that it adds up to the concept art as much as possible. If you'd like to see more of me outside of the streams, I have a Blue Sky. Link in the chat, so you can go here, you can see previous posts of the project. If you'd like to see any of the VODs, I have a YouTube channel as well where they are all stored, and I think all of them now published. So if you'd like to see any part of the project, feel free to go to YouTube and check out the VODs, though good luck finding a specific chapter. If you have my emotes, we can do cozy vibes again. This will be the raid message. Everyone, thank you very much for being here, and then I will see all of you again next time. Take care, and bye-bye.